Alright, hello again. George with Medic Gone Wild, and I said I was going to do some videos about some first aid. So, for the first thing to do is go over first aid kit. This is the first aid kit I keep in my Jeep. It's a combat lifesaver bag from the Army surplus. I got it for a couple bucks. I like it. I've always liked the design and all that. It's compact but holds a lot of stuff. I did go ahead and put the Star Life emblem on it so that anybody who's not used to what this is would know what it is in the event. I keep this strapped to the back area of my Jeep in the back hatch. So you can see it's got 3 folding compartments that come out. Right here I've got some spray for use on like poison ivy or bug bites and all that stuff. Just kind of help with the itching. Like I said, we try to camp a lot whenever possible, and we do spend a lot of time outside, so it's always handy to have something like this, especially if you got like kids like we do, so that's that. In this pocket I've got a space blanket. Use that to try to, in case of emergency, I can try to keep somebody warm if they're hurt, because when people get cold, hypothermia sets in, and I'm not going to go into it, but trust me, it wreaks havoc on the body. So you want to try to keep them warm. So yeah, that way you got that. And there's videos all over the place of like different uses for this. I'll maybe show some later. I do have a little first aid guide. We have these at work at our ambulance service, and so I threw one in here just in case somebody that doesn't know, like my kids or things like that, need to look up how to do stuff. They can look up and see. It's got minor burns, appendicitis, croup, cuts, bruises, so all kinds of stuff. So they can look at it. And it's, slides. They can look at the little thing down here and read what it says. So that's a handy little thing. And then what else is in here? Bandaids. You can never have too many of them. Got a bunch of different sizes. But I'm really surprised I'm not pulling out some Frozen or Dora the Explorer Band-Aids, because we get a lot of stuff. If we can find it on sale, we'll get it on sale. And I ain't too much of a man to sit there and be like, I won't wear a Dora Band-Aid. I have no problems with it. So trauma shears. These I got from one of our local air ambulances. Places like that usually have these. If you know somebody who works at them, you can talk to them and get several of them. I keep these in I'll show y'all a video later. I keep them in my Jeep on the rear seat belts, so that in the event we have a wreck and all that, it's easier to explain to my kids how to cut a seat belt with these than a seat belt cutter. And believe me, I've cut way more seat belts with my trauma shears. That's everything out of there. And we're going to go to this first bag right here. This one's got like a lot of my hardware and stuff in it. First thing we're going to pull out is a blood pressure cuff. You can take a blood pressure without a stethoscope. You got to feel for a pulse, pump it up, and when the pulse returns, it gives you your top number or your systolic number. I carry a stethoscope in my Jeep with this bag, but that's because I work and I carry it. So it's it's not in the bag, it's around my mirror, but if I need it, it's there. I also carry this because if I'm going to be showing up on a scene, to help people out, or if it's somebody hurt that I'm out doing something, I might want to be able to give a blood pressure so I can keep an eye on it, watch for signs of shock till an ambulance can get there and get them. Now you'll notice as you're going through here, I don't carry IV supplies or airway kits and stuff like that. One, it's something to keep up with. That's kind of a pain in the butt. And 2, you get into a lot of problems if you start working out of your area you live in, and scope of practices and all. Even though I can do them, I'm not under a medical control at that time, so it gets kind of an iffy situation. So I don't carry them. I'll work with everything else. So anyways, that's a blood pressure cuff, pocket mask, A lot of places don't, or a lot of people don't use these anymore or carry them because they went to teaching how to do just CPR and not give rescue breaths in there. But I got one. I might as well carry it. You never know. I might need to give, maybe not so much CPR, but somebody drowns or something to that effect, or I need to just give rescue breathing. Then I have a way to do it without having to carry a big bag valve mask or put my mouth on somebody. Okay, other things in here. Got a pin light again. I got this one from the air ambulance service, and though you might be able to get one. Use that. You never know if you need a flashlight if it's dark, or to check pupils, stuff like that. Ring cutter. Interesting story. Before I got one of these, one of my neighbors actually smashed her ring on her hand while she was working a chainsaw, and we had to cut it off. She came over to my house with her husband, and we had to cut it off with a pair of wire cutters. Didn't work that great, but we got it off because her finger was swelling. It was starting to constrict. So after that, I got a ring saw. So if something like that happens, I have tools to work. Other things I carry in here: window punch. Yes, granted, this isn't going to be something I'm going to be using on my own windows. I have other things for that. This will be for use if I have to go again, pull up on a car wreck and I need to do it. Got a seatbelt cutter here. Probably don't know why it's in there. I mean, other than the fact it's just handy to have. I may put it somewhere else. But anyways, the seatbelt cutter. Couple sets of hemostats. You never know if I've got to pull splinters, stuff like that. Like I said, this is also for, if we're out hiking or camping or doing stuff like that, fishing thing. I might have to use something like this to pull a splinter out of my own hand or kid's hand or something. And I got some medicine. It's like a Dayquil. That's like a Claritin. I got Benadryl. Carry lots of Benadryl, especially we do so much stuff outside. You got people who are allergic to things, so it's always handy to have Benadryl. I got pain aid. It's like an aspirin. Cough drops. Aspirin's a good thing to have too, in case you have heart attacks. That's something else you can use. Got some other little tweezers and eyeglass kit, repair kit. Got some medicine to put on like dental pain. So naproxen or Aleve. There's the batteries for the set of, or that light. Little pair of scissors. I also had another pair in here too, right here. It's like bandage scissors. It's kind of redundancy because you will always lose your trauma shears at some point. So these are better for like cutting gauze and stuff. And that, I believe, is all the medicines. Oh, I'm gonna have fun cleaning all this up. All right, next one. This is like a big trauma kit. It's got stuff in it. Got a SAM splint. It's a moldable splint. You can use legs, arms, neck, just about anything, hands, wrists. Very versatile. That, I believe, is just a wrap. I have to look. Thermal heat wraps. Somebody sprains a knee. Again, I'm not trying to dress for or prepare for the worst case scenario. I just want to be able to work. If somebody gets hurt or something while we're outside. Triangle bandages. Make slings out of. Tape. Ace wraps. Coban. It's great to help hold down gauze. It's self-adhesive. Doesn't get as messy as tape, especially if they're wet or bloody. So you can see I got a couple of Cobans, more triangle bandages. Another, it's not really a SAM splint, but it's basically the same principle. I guess it is made by SAM splint, but It's kind of a cloth instead of where this is a foam. But so that's that one. Now we're going to go to this big pocket here. Bear with me, guys. Alright. So, just turn it around so I can get to it better. We got gloves. You know, gotta have gloves. Got maxi pads. Because you never know. I mean, one, they can be used for bleeding control, but they can also be used for their intended purpose. And you don't want to be the, you know, somebody needs something like that. You know, you want to be able to help them out. So it doesn't hurt to have some. Like I said, I can't remember how many I got in there. I also have some tampons I carry. Again, another good bandaging material, but you know, also it's just good to have them for their intended purpose. So, all right, multi-trauma dressing. It's a big dressing. So that's for big wounds. You can see in here, see if I can get this focus in. But you know, 4x4 gauze, some petroleum gauze, which have a couple different uses, but you can also use these to make chest seals if you have open chest wounds. So, another trauma dressing, some ab pads or abdominal pads. These are for like stomach wounds, or not wounds as big as that you need, but also wounds that are bigger than, you know, the little 4x4s. I've got biohazard bags. I better put it where y'all can see it, so I can clean up any bloody trash I have. I don't leaving it everywhere. More ab pads, tape, Curlex. I have wrapped stuff up, and I got a few deals of them. Another tampon. I think that's it. The only thing in here, which I've carried in another, or I've got one in my Jeep, and I need to put one in here. I haven't got it yet. For extras is some cat tourniquets. You can make tourniquets out of these triangle bandages. So, you know, but eventually I will end up having probably 4 or 5 cats I'll keep in this. I do keep one in my hunting bag. I keep one on my person when I'm working on an ambulance, because you never know, there's crazy people out there. And I have one actually velcroed to the ceiling of my Jeep, right between the driver and passenger side. So in the event that something happens and I roll that vehicle and I need to get that cat tourniquet, it's not going to be shifting. It's not going to be in a tool or a console or glove box. It's going to fall and get lost. So it's secured. But that's it for my first aid bag. Like I said, everything's pretty simple. So I've got a mess around me, but you can see there's a lot of stuff in that one little bag, and most of it doesn't have expiration dates, or if it does, it's not too big a deal. I mean, so you just kind of got to keep an eye on your meds and make sure they're good. Now, there's a lot of different schools of thought on medications and expiration dates, so I leave that. That'd either be a video for another day, or I'll come up with something, but that's kind of a personal choice. I'm not going to get into that one and tell you what to do. But I said, this is all just basic stuff for treating basic injuries, basic illnesses, and, you know, that's it. The only other thing I could think of with the meds, I would probably need to put some Imodium or Pepto-Bismol, maybe some antacids, stuff like that in there, just because when you need it, you kind of need it. And, you know, you got to be careful with dehydration and all that stuff. But, there you go. That's my tore apart first aid bag. So, you can see my foot. Anyways, y'all take care. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. You can think of anything else I might need to add or any questions, feel free to ask. So, this is Medic Gone Wild. I'll see y'all outside.